Welcome back to my workshop. Now today I've taken delivery of 2 parcels here. Now this is the one we're going to look at today, and what this is a Sculptfun S9 laser engraver. This one I'll cover in a future video. Okay, let's have a quick look at this one. What I'll do is I'll take it out of the box and I'll assemble it. Now in theory you can assemble this in about half an hour to 40 minutes. I'll just go through the basic steps of getting this thing assembled. Okay, let's have a look at the box. Right, so the package is not the world's heaviest package. Let's have a quick look here. All right, 4.8 kilos. That's not very heavy. Okay, let's open it. Right, so what I've got here is the Sculpfun S9 laser engraving machine. I ordered it from Amazon and it cost me £479.99. Now that's on April 2022. Now I was going to buy a smaller one, but I managed to get sucked in to getting this one in the end. Right, let's get it out of the box and see what we got. Okay, so this is what you get. It's quite well packaged by the looks of it, well protected. Nothing looks like it's damaged. Right, so what do you get in the box? Well, first of all, you get the rails. These are clearly labelled up as left, right, back and front. Okay, so I'm not going to take those off yet, so I know which ones are which. They're normal aluminium extrusion. Let's see how big they are. Yeah, 20mm aluminium extrusion. Okay, what do we get next? Get a pair of goggles. These are green ones. Okay, very stylish. Then you get the X gantry. Now this is all pre-assembled by the looks of it. Okay, and on here you get the X stepper motor and the Y stepper motor. Okay, so this one obviously moves it forwards and backwards, and this one moves it side to side. Okay, we'll see that in action hopefully later on. Okay, but this is pre-assembled, which is really good because it saves a hell of a lot of time. Okay, so that's that. You get 3 feet, only 3 feet, because the other foot is part of the control box. Okay, so the motherboard effectively. Okay, this goes on the front of the machine and it incorporates the front right foot. You get some sample materials. Looks like a bit of plywood and feels like a little piece of balsa wood. You get the actual laser itself. Okay, this is the laser. Okay, again, we'll see that when it's assembled. You get a spare shield. Okay, this goes around the actual laser to stop you staring at it and blinding yourself. And you get a little aluminium spacer. Now this is for setting the focal length on the laser. I'll show that later. A USB cable, obviously for connecting this to your computer. You get a power supply. Okay, and this power supply is 100 to 240 volts input, and output is 12 volts at 5 amps. Okay, 60 watts. Okay, and this one came with a standard UK plug because obviously I bought it in the UK through Amazon. Okay, that's that. You get an instruction booklet, which we'll have a look through in a second. Then you get a selection of bags. Now all of these bags are marked up with what they are. Anti-slip rubber, that goes on the bottom of the feet. Transmission belt, 2 pieces. Okay, these are the belts that drive the Y-axis. Then you've got step 5, step 1, step 4, step 2, step 5, and screw spare package. Okay, you get some spare screws by the looks of it. Then a selection of tools. You get a small Allen key, a spanner, so an 8 and 10mm spanner, small Allen key or 2 small Allen keys, and a small brush. Okay, so that in theory is everything I need to assemble it. And lastly, you get this piece of metal, which I believe is what you rest your workpiece on to help dissipate some of the heat. Okay, so that's all the bits and pieces you get in it. I'm going to have a quick look through the instruction book and then start assembling it. Okay, so I just went to have a quick look through the instruction book and I found this. Okay, it's a teeny tiny little grub screw. So hopefully when we're assembling it, we can find out where that goes. So careful, because there are some loose bits. Right, the instruction booklet is in English, German and French. It starts off, gives you the basic architecture of the machine, front beam, back beam, etc., laser, la la la. Then it shows you the series of screws to use to assemble the back and the sides. Then the gantry goes on, then the front rail goes on, then you install the belts. And then after you've installed the belts, you install the T-nuts, and then after that, install the laser module and the data cables. Okay, that's what we'll cover first. Then it goes on to focusing the laser. We'll get to that later on. Okay, so let's get assembling. Okay, so the instructions clearly show you which step bag you need. So we've got step 1 bag, and we've got to start with the back and the 2 sides. Okay, so right and left. So I'm doing this to my right and my left. Okay, so now I can get these out of the bags. Okay. Right, so it shows you which screws to use. I'm going to use, to start off, screws number 1. Okay, screws number 1, which is these 18mm ones. Okay, they go through the side panel and then into the rail. Now the rail is already threaded. Using your supplied X key, just nip it up, don't tighten it up. Then the side rail, it shows you what screws to use. Right, on these side rails you've got 1 through hole and 1 tapped hole. Okay, so the through hole is for the longer bolts. And then the slightly shorter bolts in the sides. Okay, so there's the back rail on, the 2 rear feet are on, but not tight yet. We'll wait until we get it all assembled and then we'll nip it all up. Okay, just one thing to note, on here, on the left-hand rail, there's a scale. Okay, it's like a rule on the side. Obviously you want that up so you can actually use it. I assume it's possible to actually put that the wrong way up. Right, so that's that step. Now on to the next step, which is sliding the X gantry on. Okay, so I've got the X gantry here. Now this has got 3 wheels on either side. Okay, and they actually sit 2 on top of the rail and 1 underneath. So in theory that should just slot on. Right, well that couldn't have been easier. Okay, yeah, okay, so that's on. Then you put the front rail on. We know this is the front rail because it's the only one left. Okay, so the next step, you've got the front rail. Again, this has got a rule on it. Okay, so you've got to make sure you get that upright. You get the left-hand front foot, and you'll also need the motherboard because that also has the other foot on it. Okay, this is the foot. Okay, according to the instructions, we now use step 3 pack, but actually step 3 is the belts, so there's a bit of a problem with the instructions. Okay, so I'm going to assume it's the step 2 bag. Okay, same again. We've got some teeny tiny little screws. Okay, so that's the main components of the machine put together. It's only taken me a quarter of an hour so far. What I've got to do next is put the belts on, which is step 3 belts. Okay, the instructions so far have been quite comprehensive. It's not complicated at all, so I think anyone can actually do this. Right, let's get these belts in, but first of all I'm going to run around with this and tighten everything up. Okay, the drive belts, you get 2 of these little quite flimsy drive belts, but hopefully they're going to be man enough. Now you've got to install these with the teeth facing downwards. Okay, so we've got a teeth here facing downwards, and they actually feed in through the front hole, okay, up to the gantry, under the front wheel. Okay, so you feed the belt in with the teeth down, it goes under the front wheel, if you can, and then using the tools that they supplied, so I'm going to use the little Allen key, you hook up the belt if you can. Oh, bit tricky. Okay, it goes over the top pulley and then back down under the second wheel. A bit fiddly this, but not too bad. Okay, and then obviously when you get to this other end, it goes through the hole at the other end. Right, and then you do exactly the same to this side. Okay, that's both the belts. Now we've got to fix the belts in place. Okay, so the T-nuts you need to fix it are in step 4, and all you do is you literally get your T-nut, slot it into the hole or into the rail, probably pull the belt back so there's about a centimetre, 10mm hanging over the front. Okay, don't cut it off. Now these then just slot into place and then you tighten them up. Okay, it looks like it tries to twist the belt, so be a bit careful there. Okay, and then I'm going to do the same at the front on that end. Then at the back of the machine, you tension the belt by pulling it, making sure it's sitting properly in the teeth of the X gantry. Okay, then you put your other nut in there. Right, the next step is actually installing the laser module. This sits on here. Obviously it's on the side with the logo. That is just located in place by 2 twist nuts that are in bag step 5. Okay, and they literally just go through the back here and into the laser module. Okay, so the next step now is to plug in the harness. Now the harness is literally tied together with this wrap. You undo it and you've got 3 connectors on it. 1, 2, 3. The first connector goes to this stepper motor, the second connector goes to the other stepper motor, and the third connector goes to the laser. Okay, so let's quickly plug those in. Okay, so we've now got the harness installed. It does feel quite stiff. Let's hope it loosens up a little bit. Making sure that all the connections are securely in. And then what you've got to do is make sure that you can get full travel in the X direction and in the Y direction. Okay, because you can, if you've put the cable ties in the wrong place, you can stop this going the full way. Okay, right, so that's that. Let's move on to the next bit. Okay, just reading through the instructions here. It says to check the belt tension. The ideal thing is to lift up the machine to 45 degrees ish, and it should roll under its own weight. If it doesn't, then the belts are too tight. So there you go. So that tension looks just about right. Obviously, if it doesn't move, then you can adjust, you can slacken off the belts a little bit. Okay, one other thing on adjustment, let's look underneath the machine. Okay, so the rollers for the X gantry, okay, these rollers should just be pressing on the gantry, okay, not too tight, not too loose, just pressing on it. If you do need to adjust them, this nut here, obviously with the supplied 10mm spanner, okay, you just adjust them. They're on an eccentric, so they'll either go tighter or loosen. Okay, but in this case, it's straight out of the box. It's quite good, but that's how you adjust it if you need to. Right, let's turn it back over. Okay, electrical connections to the machine couldn't be simpler. You've got your power supply here. This end goes in there. Okay, and then you just plug the cable into there. And then that obviously plugs into your mains power supply. That's simple enough. And the data cable, okay, it's literally a USB cable. One end goes in here and the other end goes straight into your PC. Now I won't cover that in this video, I'll cover that in the next video with the software installation. Okay, right, just one more thing to cover, and that is how to focus the laser. Okay, so this is a fixed focus laser. That means it hasn't got any electronic control of the Z-axis. And what you get is the little aluminium cylinder. And what you have to do is put it underneath the body of the laser. Then you loosen off the 2 screws at the back. And then you literally lower the laser until the cylinder hits the body. Okay, that determines the height of the laser head to the material you're working on. Then you just nip it up with both screws and then remove the spacer. Okay, so that is now the right focal length. Okay, this mystery little grub screw that I found, I think it actually lives here. Okay, so when you're changing the guard, if you need to, I think you get a spare one of those. Okay, so that's where that lives, I think. Okay, I've got to put it somewhere safe. Right, we have one mystery bag left. This is anti-slip rubber. Now basically this is little patches of rubber, and what they do is they fit around the feet of the machine to stop it scratching your surface. I'll probably be using it on this surface, or I'm going to put a wasteboard permanently fixed to it. So I'm not going to put these on yet, but I'll keep them safe just in case I need them. Right, a quick check on the actual carving ability of this machine, like area wise. Now obviously with the machine right at the ends, okay, there's a little gap between the burning point and the edge of the machine. So between there over to this side, it looks like about 41 centimeters, okay, in the x-axis, and on the y-axis about 42.5 centimeters. Okay, so it's quite a big area. I don't think I'll ever be carving anything bigger than that. Right, so that's the basic unboxing and assembly of this machine. It's looking really good. The quality looks really good. Just a couple of things. The glasses that come with it. Now, apparently the laser is, let me check, 455 nanometers. Okay, that's the wavelength of the laser light that comes out of it. I'm hoping that these glasses are the right wavelength protection, but there is obviously the shield around the front here, which will also help protect your eyes. But never use one of these machines unless you're actually wearing glasses. Just a couple of other bits and pieces. You might see these advertised as a 90-watt laser. Now, if it was a 90-watt laser, it'd probably be able to cut through my table saw. What you're looking at really is the output optical power, which in this machine is 5.5 watts to maybe 6 watts. Okay, so be careful what you're buying. I looked at a load of other machines before I bought this one. I bought this one with my own money, so I'm not biased at all towards Sculpfun. But looking at it now, haven't used it yet, but I think this machine is going to be quite good. In theory, it can engrave into pretty much most materials, cardboard, paper, wood, coloured acrylics, ceramics, and it can sort of etch onto stainless steel, I believe. Obviously I've got to check all this myself, and it can actually cut, in theory, it can cut up to 15 mil thick in wood. Now we'll see how well that does. The reason it can do that is because of the shape of the actual laser itself. There's some funky goodness goes on inside the laser where they actually profile the laser so it can cut deeper. Okay, but I may cover that in a future video. The next video I'll cover installing some software and getting this thing up and running. I'm planning on using Lightburn software, which is a paid software, but you can get some other free softwares like Gerbil, for example, but I'll probably go straight for Lightburn. Okay, I hope this was information for you, and if you're planning on getting one of these, just a quick tip on how to put it together. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye. And that's this mystery little grub screw that I found when I was unpacking it. If I can get it in focus, come on. Let's see what it says. It don't say anything because I didn't start it first. Let's do that again. Right, so the next thing is, oh, I've dropped it again. Right, this mystery little grub screw. Oh, I dropped it again. Oh, what's going on? Which hopefully you don't drop on the floor. Oh, it's gone off. Oh, what a... I forgot to put these ones in, didn't I? You silly Billy Frank.